Hello, viewer. Welcome to Chungu Jamii. My name is Betty. I am your host today, and I am excited that this month is still here with us. And what we are focusing on mainly this month is creating wealth. A lot of people are done with school. They're yet to find their goals. They're yet to find their future in terms of employment, in terms of business. They still have no idea what they want to do. And so they're waiting home, idle, and not sure what step to take next. Today, I have a gentleman who is going to be getting us out of that place where we have been stuck and taking us to the place we ought to be as we grow and think of what we want to do. I want to welcome him to introduce himself. We'll be talking about start small and grow rich.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you for having me here. My name is Felix Musau. I run an organization called AGIN. AGIN stands for Agriculture and Infrastructure. And our key objective is to make agriculture make sense.
Okay.
In three words, make agriculture make sense in this, make it profitable, make it enable value chain actors, extract the value that is in there, make it easier for people to engage with each other and able to scale.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
That's nice.
Okay.
I like the first one.
Which one was that?
Agriculture makes sense.
You're trying to simplify it?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people do agriculture, by the way. There's a lot of land in Kenya, unlike other countries where they're so mountainous. And so with the lots of land, and they do not get value for their money.
Precisely.
They harvest bags, lots of bags of maize, but they cannot translate this into something. You're farming, but you cannot get into the real estate and buy a house. You're farming, but you're struggling to educate your children. You're farming, and this cannot take you. When you sell this produce, you cannot survive a whole year, though you have worked so hard for 3 months.
Precisely.
That's why I like the fact that you say making agriculture make sense.
Okay.
How does that happen? How does it make sense?
If I can piggyback on what you're saying, you're looking at Western, and you look at the previous generation. So to them, agriculture was what they had. So that's all many of them knew. So you're a teacher in agri, everyone had a farm. But when you come to the new generation, our generation, the one that's coming up, if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
So that's why people would take land and sell it to get a border. So you're selling an asset that appreciates to buy an asset that devalues from immediately leaves the showroom and maybe another 15% has gone. But why? It's because they don't see the asset started for them is, I need money today, tomorrow, this one can give me my 500, 1,000. The land will take all my time. And at the end of it all, I will not be able to get the value that I have put in, commensurate. So a lot of smallholder farming has been what you call irrational. So a lot of our farmers have been what you call irrational producers. An irrational producer is someone who produces, one, does not know where they're producing that corn you're talking about. They don't know where they're going to sell it. And they don't know at what price they're going to sell it. So that's irrationality. And because it has been tradition, a lot of it is steeped in tradition, it has become an irrational activity. So not as a business. Unfortunately or fortunately, the new generation is asking those questions and is not rebelling from the farms. It's just that the models that were there don't make sense.
I am trying to get to what you're saying, because when I look at it, for sure, they probably have no idea where they're going to sell it and for how much.
Precisely.
You know, so they just do it for the sake of it, to consume.
Activity.
And when they are hungry, they can try to sell it. Or when they have some, they could sell it to buy soap or for what they don't have.
Let me tell you something.
And so it's not making sense at all.
Smallholder farmers in Africa, in Kenya, even in Africa, actually underwrite our production systems. And what that means is if they're to bill, let's say you're a house help with a farm, you go to work, you charge 600 shillings per day. If you go to your farm and charge your farm 600 shillings a day, and you look at your total cost of production, no one will be able to buy that. So farmers are subsidizing our food systems. So they start from a negative. So our mandate as an organization is saying, how can we take this farmer, work with him from the point of what do you plant? So are you just doing corn? Is corn profitable? Or how do we make it profitable? So smallholder profitability is in 3 key areas. Is can we reduce your cost of inputs? Can you have access to technical expertise for what you call yield optimization? And lastly, can we get a target price that can give you maybe 50% return? So this conversation does not just start at the market, but actually starts before the land is prepared, yes. So smallholder farmers have no negotiating power with regards to input because you have half an acre, 2 acres. But there are strategies we put in place to be able to help them get to that level where can we first work on the profitability? So can we make sure the services needed for that are available around you? And lastly, can we help you secure markets way in advance for your crop?
So we are looking at wealth creation.
Precisely.
Let's look at the farmer. What does he need? What chunk of land does he need to make sense?
Wow, the people with so when you talk about smallholder farmers, it means different things. In Kiambu, it will mean different things. In Kiambu, a 2-acre farmer is a big farmer because of the land usage and the density. In Rift, you're nowhere because of the land size, isn't it? So we come down to per unit profitability. Is saying, one, you need to ask, what can I grow? Because every piece of land has what you call a competitive advantage. You look at hot areas that we thought nothing could grow. I mean, there are fruits and orchards right now flourishing in those areas. You know, if you look at the eastern, you look at some places in coast, you know, hot areas that are doing brilliant. So for them, it's very easy to grow fruits because fruits need that weather. In the colder areas, in the Okalau, there are those high value crops that you can do. And you find coincidentally in the, like I'll give you indigenous chicken. Many thought indigenous chicken was a mainstay of where you come from, for Western. But actually in Makuene, it's doing better. Farmers are now becoming, you know, maybe it's because they don't eat as much, but we don't eat a lot of meat there, but it's doing very well. So sometimes it's just an issue of knowledge. You're used to doing maize. What can do better in that area? But that should be driven by the market. What are the market trends? If we're importing beans, you don't want to be doing beans when you're importing beans. What can you do at that particular land to optimize what you have? So it's a lot of it is an issue of information, technical assistance, and also investment.
True.
Because some of it,
especially.
Information, exactly.
Yes, because they probably have no idea, and they have been calling on someone to help, and for lack of knowledge, a lot of things really go wrong and also into a waste. So you need as little or as much as, as little as 2 acres that will receive from a farmer?
You need what you have in your hands. So I'll always ask, what do you have?
What you have.
What do you have?
Okay.
If you have a quarter acre, what do you have? A quarter acre with a high value crop can give you a decent return. A quarter acre for a low value crop, you know, if you do some leafy greens in some areas, highly perishable commodities, you won't make a return. So the knowledge of what can I do? So always start with what do you have. Don't look at what you don't have. You'll never start. True. Look at what you have and seek the knowledge
to utilize
to say, how do I get the most of what I have?
So in again, You work with farmers.
We work with farmers.
And you work with consumers.
Yes. So in 3 areas, we've been trying to basically reframe a lot of stuff in agri, but we're in 3 key areas: inputs, production, and markets. But for us, the farmer is at the center.
Yes.
Yes. So in inputs, production, and in markets. Yes.
So the farmer being at the center.
Yes.
Are you doing your products or your produce by yourself, or the farmer does whatever he does and he gives to you guys? How does it happen?
So we remember the farmer is at the center. Again is not at the center. Again is creating the framework that enables the farmer and other people who are needed to make this successful. Creating an environment that people can operate profitably. So when you look at the farmer, we ask, what are the factors of production that lead to profitability? I talked about that earlier. So we ask, one of the keys markets, and if you look at banking, because it's when you look at the banking data, you can tell what financiers think about it. I think it's about 4-5% marks of our loan book is in agriculture, a sector that gives around 26% of our GDP. So it is underserved financially.
True.
So that's why I'm saying it's a farmer who underwrites our production systems, especially in smallholder. And even this 4-5%, I would put it no more than 80% is in smallholders. Not less than 20%. 80% will go to the big farms that have assets that are more bankable. So when we're restructuring this, we're also asking, how do we make the smallholder farmer bankable? Bankable so that you can have land, but land in itself, you need factors of production, you need inputs. To acquire inputs, you need financing. If you don't have the financing, that's why people are selling the land, or there's a lot of idle land. There's a lot of idle land. There's a lot of idle land in this country. So you cannot structure production without restructuring markets. And you cannot, so that when you call it a value chain, just think about it as a physical chain. The chain is as strong as its weakest link. So you cannot handle one side at the expense of the other one, because you'll just survive one season. That's why a lot of donor programs have failed, because you come and focus on production. Let's help the farmer. But immediately you go, it collapses because the necessary links have not been made. So you help the farmers, you got inputs, he's doing well, it looks well on we've helped 1,000 farmers. And you have not restructured the market. But you're selling to the same market that cannot support profitable smallholder agriculture. Okay, so what exactly do you do? How do you do that? Because you have dealt with the farmer, and now you have the consumer, and you have the markets. Okay. It's a complex problem, and there's no simple solution. So you have to deal, so we talked about markets, inputs. And production, but it's underlined by insurance, finance, and logistics. I wonder why insurance, Yeah, because someone has to, you have to create, you have to subsidize. Like if you have a car, you have an insurance policy. Why? Because you have invested on it, and you don't want to go to a loss if anything. Should you have a big loss or a big accident, or someone hit your car or a tree fell on it, you want to be cushioned. Yes. So who's cushioning our farmers? Insurance. They're not being, even insurance penetration in agriculture is less than 1%. Yeah, that's why I wonder why insurance, because everybody just thinks you just produce and then you go and sell. No, it doesn't happen like that. What if there's a weather event, or there's an outbreak of a pest like the fall armyworm, or in tomato the farmer loses? Yes. So the farmer has been taking all the risk and making the list of the return. No wonder a lot of people do not like farming, or it answers why a lot of land is fallow in Kenya. Precisely. So, and from a macro policy, look at the numbers. Our food import bill is not going down.
No.
When Kenya closes our borders with Tanzania, the government gets involved. Or with Uganda. Why is that? We're a big market. But we are bringing in what we can grow. But our production systems cannot, need some work to be able to stimulate that bit. But there's no bigger sector than agri.
But the way we bring in what we can grow.
Yes.
And it's not for lack of land. It's for lack of info and the many underlying factors that you were talking about.
Yes.
Okay, so now we've got the farmer. And who takes care of the underlying? The insurance, the finance?
So this is like, think about agri like your body. You can have the heartbeat running. Your heart is pumping. But if the leg refuses, you can't do much.
True.
You understand? So everything has to work simultaneously. It has to beat. So access to finance, if the firm is self-financing, the money has to be there. The markets also have to be there. The insurance also has to know what's happening because agriculture is predictable, unlike many businesses. It's a most predictable.
Yeah.
Because there's a time to.
Unless the locusts come.
There's a time to plant.
Yes, and there's a time to harvest.
There's a time to harvest. If you start any other business, you don't know, you plant now, you don't know when you'll harvest. But agriculture is actually the most profitable. Yes. Not profitable, but most predictable. Most predictable. Yeah. And the risks are known. So, but the lack of information, as and when it's needed, because it's time sensitive. If you take 2 weeks to approve a farmer loan and you give it to him, you've actually guaranteed his failure and his inability to pay back.
Yes.
Because there was a season he had a week or 2 weeks to plant, but you came too late.
Yeah.
You approved the loan too late, so you might as well not disburse because the season has lapsed.
Yes.
So just think about the demand for this information. Think about all these pieces moving together. So when I said we make sense, is that we join all these people and give them as the knowledge to make the decision as and when it's needed.
Yes.
So we bring in all these people who need to know when from banks to it. So that's what Again does.
Yes.
So we are like the rails or the SGR for agriculture that all these people now use to drive decisions and investment and return.
Excellent. That's well explained, and I hope that every farmer who is interested has actually gotten that clearly. One of the things that I also like from your explanation is that the burden is off just the farmer to bear, and so the farmer is not even discouraged. It's not like he has to bear everything. When locusts and whatever kinds of pests come and then just invade their farm, the loss is not just them. At least there's insurance. At least he's not bearing all this by himself. On creating wealth, how does it help the young people?
Okay, so you talk
like I said in my intro.
Yes.
The young people who are done with school, they are waiting. There's that notion of I am done with school. Next is I'm gonna get a job and have a family and have buy this house and buy this car and settle. But mostly that's not the case, and so people get so traumatized and they get into, whatever kind of thing that comes their way, which is not helpful.
So that's a deep question. When you think about let me start with the programming. When we grew up, I keep on referring to this song. I don't know if you guys were in that generation. There's a song that used to say, so many vijana, muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma utapata kazi nzuri. When Dad used to drop me in school, that's a song that used to play in the morning. It used to come very early in the morning. What you don't understand is the severe damage that programming has done to us.
Did you say severe damage?
Severe damage. Because when you just think about, I'm finishing, let me get a job. I'm finishing, let me go look for work. You even called it tamarking. Tamarking is the journey or the painful process of dropping CVs in different offices.
Nowadays, they call it hustling.
No, it's hustling. Yes. No, hustling is making an income. Okay. Tamakim was dropping CVs.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. Hustling is I prefer the hustling than the tamaking.
Okay.
What that did is created a mindset that we've been trying to pass to the next generation, that what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor, those nice things. And even when we're looking at I get pained when I see top KCPE students saying I want to be a brain surgeon, because they felt that's the epitome. You know, that's the danger of programming, but that's not his gift. He maybe he needed to be a programmer, maybe he needed to be an excellent farmer, maybe he could serve people differently. But we have put a box of success and said, if you're in this career, that means your success. Now go and ask the people who are in those careers and ask if it's what it pans out to be. You see, if there's something you're not, you see what passion is? Passion is what gets you focusing on your dream beyond the tough times. If you're passionate about something and tough times hit, you're going to cling into it. Yes. But you're impassionate, you let it go.
True.
But there's no easy journey.
I like hearing that. There's
no easy journey. So when we're at home, and you'll just get back to your question on what we are doing. So I wanted to start first with the mindset is, what do you have? And what can you do about it? And that's where you start. If you always look at what you don't have, you'll never start anything. You'd say, when I get this, I will do this.
Which may never come.
Which will never come. You know?
Yeah.
Which will never come. So start with what you have.
Okay.
And the process is just as important, because the process of following your dream, the process of following that thing, that recurring theme that comes in your heart every time you sleep, or every time, that thing you want to be that has been put in you, following that, the process is just as important as the destination. Because it's in the process that your character is formed. It's in the process things like perseverance and patience are formed.
True.
Those are things that you need to be successful. The faster you learn these lessons of perseverance, delayed gratification, loving yourself irrespective, learning to take care of yourself as an individual, then you become a more productive member of a society.
Okay.
Because there's no position you'll be trusted with if you have no patience, you have no skills to work with people. It's just about you. No one is going to want to work with you. So the process that we try and shortcut, and that's what I call corruption. Corruption is actually, for me, a shortcut of a process.
Yeah.
We think the goal, we have elevated the goal beyond the process. So back to these young people, what are we doing with them in agriculture is saying, when you talk about youth in agriculture, what picture comes to mind for you?
I'm thinking about the 300, my 300.
No, even before that.
Before that.
Well, when you talk about youth in agriculture, you are seeing someone in a gumboot or in a farmhouse.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So when people think about agriculture, a young person who has graduated with a degree or master's in whatever, they're not seeing themselves in some dirty clothes in the mud with gumboots.
Yes.
They are seeing themselves being ushered into some office and someone cleaning their chair.
And being paid 100,000.
Exactly. 100 is little,
really?
Or maybe for starters. That's what they're looking at. But talk about agriculture? No.
Okay.
No gumboots and mud after my graduation.
Which is unfortunate, because I don't see another industry in Africa that has such greater potential beyond agriculture and technology.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, well, I'll get there.
I mentioned my 300 home. Tell us about that.
So let me talk about my 300.
Yes.
My 300 was born out of some interaction with some young guys from KU, JKU that I had 4 years ago, where we had farmers who we needed to get market for. So we had this idea of, what do we have? We have a lot of youth who have nothing to do. Can we create a business model that does not need capital for the youth, but can offer decent return and can use what they have?
Nice one. When people hear zero capital, that's what they want to do.
It's actually, I call it a zero capital business. It's based among something called micro-franchising. Traditional franchising, you need a lot of capital. You need to buy the franchise, like when you see KFC, Burger King, all this, someone paid for it.
Yes.
But if I take like the young guys behind the camera and say, okay, this guy has a dream, maybe wants to own a production house.
Yes.
How do I help him get there? So what my 300 is a youth economic model that says, can I take Betty and 300 of her friends and tie them to one youth called Jane? Okay? And what Jane does is Jane learns how to manage Betty. Betty says, instead of spending my 1,000 shillings at supermarket X, we're going to take care of our own.
Okay.
I'll support Jane. But when you support Jane, at the back of your mind, you're asking, I know Jane, is she the one handling my product? Does she know my quality? Do I know where the product has come from? Will it come on time? So we have taken that headache away from Jane and from the customer, saying, we have the farmers are there. We have farmers who have said, we're going to come and support you. We have centers that are saying, when the order is made, we're going to pack it, and we have people who have said we're going to deliver it directly to Betty's house. And at the end of it all, Jane makes money. So
what has Jane to do?
So Jane
just to know what I need.
There's a skill that in life that everyone has to have, and even when you're here, the skill is marketing.
Yes.
And sales and managing. You cannot make money without people. So Jane's work is to be trained and to be mentored on how do I take care of Betty and our 300 friends. How can I be able to talk to her, upsell her, make her comfortable? If she has an issue, I can escalate it to the team back end. Or if she's looking for a product we don't have, that we can be able to communicate. So she learns the skill of customer management, sales, which is key in any industry.
Okay.
When you go for an interview, you're selling yourself.
Yes.
So here we're saying, can I use a tomato to transform Jane's life? So Jane is a primary. So Jane is now acting in the market space of agriculture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's selling full fruits and vegetables, chicken. She's helping guys doing sauces and everything. She's doing everything that's agri, but she's participating in the market side. And she's not keeping any products. She's not. That's why I say zero capital. So she has access to the app. It's everything is technology driven. Jane has a better phone than I do. It's interesting, guys don't have jobs but have the best phones. You wonder what you're doing with this. What does Jane require? So just needs her phone. Just not even a laptop. No, not even a laptop. Just and what we call social capital. How we design the program is, we work with the youth to do this. It's saying, what do you have? Social capital, and you have a phone. That's all you need. And then the ability to want to work. So are you supposed to get into some training? We do trainings once a month. We have trainings, online trainings. We have a lot of material that we share. But we're now, this week, really trying to scale up that activity. We have been off and on piloting, iterating for the last 3 years or so. Brand changes and 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Where have you been? I've not had any deliveries to my home. Now that's where we are. We have very aggressive targets for the next quarter. We have opportunities for 5,000 youth. Because you 5,000 youth in Nairobi. Wow. And we're working with different organizations. There are youth who, because of their background, do not have the networks. They have no access to Betty. There's no place they'll meet Betty. They don't go to the same shops. They don't go to the same place, social gatherings. They don't. So we're taking youth want to work and vulnerable youth and saying, can we make them build cash flow? Are you looking for a particular age qualification? No, there's no qualification. I'm just looking for people over 18 to around 30, maybe 30, 35. But many of those who come in around 22 to 28, they're about. But it's never appealing when you tell your friends you sell tomatoes. Well, So It always sounds cool. I'm selling threads, sneakers, there are those things that sound cool, but mimi mama mboga, they think of mama mboga, but that's mindsets that need to be re-engineered. And I tell them, mama mboga.
But Jane stocks nothing. She just has a nice smartphone. She probably needs Wi-Fi.
Obviously, you need bandwidth. Yes. But you see, with one order, let me give you the maths. If Jane has Betty who says I can spend through Jane 1,000 shillings a week, and she has 100 customers, she's making 8%. So she's making 8,000 shillings in a week.
Yes.
8 times 4 is 32.
Yes.
So she's at a 30. She's way above many.
Without paying bus fare?
No paying bus fare.
No capital?
No capital.
She's not the one delivering as well?
She's not the one delivering as well.
So she's not receiving from the farmer, she's not delivering, she's not handling the product, she's not packaging.
That mechanism has been done by the platform and by what Agin does. All those players are already inside.
God. I wonder where you have been.
It's an issue of time, neither is a time. So it takes a while to...
Do you already have the 5,000 youth?
No, we're nowhere near there. That is when we're actually aggressively, and we just not want youth for numbers. I want youth who want to work, who are tired of their current status quo.
But who didn't do that?
You'd be very surprised. Let me give you 2 doors. I'll ask you. You have a door here. There are 2 doors, left and right. The one here is what you call familiar hell. Your familiar hells. And here you have unfamiliar heavens. So you have 2. Ask which one would you choose? Where would you choose?
Familiar hell.
So you choose familiar hell. Many would choose that because you're used to the problems, because what you accommodate and what you tolerate, you cannot change.
You need someone to unstuck.
So you need to be tired of being broke. You need to be tired of always asking, money to shave your hair, looking for someone to buy you lunch, or because...
And you can't treat someone for lunch as well.
You can't treat someone for lunch, or if you have a child...
We need to take a break and get to talk to that detail. It's very important. It's very important. Those are the guys you're targeting. We are taking a short break. We're talking about starting small and growing rich. If you listen to agriculture, you probably are just thinking about gumboots and mud, but this is not it. This is making money while doing nothing. Stay shortly with us. We are coming. This is Chungu cha Jamii. It's our world, our country, our society and community. We talk about marriage, we talk about finances, we talk about parenting, we talk about the boy child, the girl child, we talk about mothers-in-law, we talk about the prisons, we talk about schools, everything that concerns you in the society. We're going to be discussing about resisting peer pressure. We want to talk about why do young people go against authority. I am going to be discussing with you COVID-19 lessons. Today we are talking about molding character in children. We offer solutions. We bring in experts, we bring in psychologists to tell us more on how to handle our problems.
When COVID happened in March, there was a lot of information on what to do.
Come to this place at Chungu cha Jamii on the round pot, have some soup, and talk about the issues in our community.
The parent, the child, and the teacher must work together in order to inform that child.
It doesn't matter how far you've gone, even if you feel like it's too late.
Check the child's behavior. If just something slight changes, don't ignore it.
We are meant to live in peace.
Get to understand yourself. Get to understand your thoughts.
Thank you, viewer. I am glad that many of you have been watching and sending in your comments.
Ni vipaji poultry loans. So ukiniona niko on run pale Tao BS nikiharakisha kukuja GBS, it's because poultry loans is back. And this time it's back to inform you, to transform you, to educate you and inspire you.
Najiamini Ndo maana sometimes me who laugh at my failures ndo ni motivate success. Ni Dante Spy the Poet hapa hivi. Tuko Vipaji Poetry Lounge live at GBS.
Best Chef na Spice ya Kari no wanda alikuwa mkali. Vipaji Poetry Lounge
at all social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, tuko everywhere. Vipaji Poetry Lounge, GBS. Stay tuned.
Everywhere, GBS.
Okay, welcome back, viewer. I am here with Felix, telling us about My 300 Home. I'm not sure if you have heard about this, but he is explaining it in the best way.
Okay.
So, My 300 Home. Why did you say you call it 300?
So there are two things. There's what we call My 300 Squad. My 300 Squad is the youth initiative with a technology called My 300 Squad. It's their business tool to be able to manage customers, make orders, get their commissions, do whatever they need to do that. That is My 300 Squad. When they add you as a customer, you get access to My 300 Home, which is now you can make orders without necessarily, you can make orders directly. They still know and they still earn. So in any economy, economics 101 is simple. You have a producer and you have a consumer. We can make it very sophisticated. But the producer, in this case, the farmer, the people doing value addition, need access to the consumer. So now the consumer is with the youth. So he's servicing the customer and also servicing the producer. And that's what supermarkets do. That's what Amazon does, you know. So we're just saying, can we spread this, can we spread the wealth around and let everyone, you talk about wealth creation. A country, I don't believe a country changes because you have 3-4 billionaires. No. A country changes when you have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people earning. And that has been what you've seen in the county devolve, where now development has reached down there. The money used to be there in central government, but now it has a way of getting down there. And that's where a lot of counties are developing. Counties develop when people and leadership countries are saying, can we create opportunities for the most part? That's how you bring up an economy. You don't bring up because two people have become billionaires, and chances are a lot of that money is not even in the country anyway.
So is this just in Nairobi?
No, currently it's in Nairobi. We need to, we've had demand from other towns, urban towns, but it's also affecting rural because remember Nairobi is consumer, other counties are producer counties. So by taking care of the consumers, we're also affecting a lot of counties. But the youth program is going to roll out in another county maybe in 2 months or so when we get critical mass in Nairobi.
How do you need our help to get you 4,000 youths?
Do
you have a strategy?
We have,
or we can invite them right now.
No, I mean we are looking for youth who are working. So those who want to, those who are tired, not those who are looking for a free ride. You know, I just don't want a number. I want people who want to change their lives. And
but there's that opening for 4,000.
Yeah, there is.
Because honestly, there's the Jane, for example, that you were talking about, who is probably a single mother. She met with some hit-and-run guy, and now she's a single mom. She is not able to take care of herself.
Precisely.
She may not be able to go back to school now. She just needs some money to feed on and live life. And if she can only get a phone, she's good to go.
And you know something about that Jane you're talking about? Jane may hold the cure to COVID.
Oh, yes.
Jane may hold the cure to COVID. And by helping her go back to school, be able to get liquidity that she can go back to school, she'll be the one tomorrow getting the Nobel Peace Prize. But because of choices or environments, that's where our responsibility comes in, is we have to take care of Jane. We have to take care of our own. Because the challenges we see today and the challenges that we'll face tomorrow will need people who will rise up, who have those solutions. Solutions don't come from there. Solutions are in people. So when I see Jane as a single mother, or I see Tom as a young guy who's lost, or, you know, I see this guy has a solution that we need tomorrow. you know.
True.
So how can we help him that he doesn't come and go, get into drugs, die, without him having changed society the way he's been called to. So when I see, it's just not youth, you're looking for youth who want, this is just like I was telling you earlier, it's like a rung in a ladder. You have a goal, but you need to take these steps. For us, we're bringing in something we're calling lifeline. It's to give financial lifelines to our young guys, to give them a base. And even the US, they're thinking about the same thing. They're talking about what they call universal basic income. It has been something that has been going on where they're saying, can we guarantee our people a minimum level of income, whether you have a job or not? Why? Sometimes people are saying it's going towards socialism or stuff, but because if you've been an entrepreneur, you're saying people don't do some things because they need to eat today. If you take care of their basics, someone can dream and have the ability to follow their dream to the end. But we get diverted because of the immediate needs that cannot be ignored. So it's something that many countries just but here we don't have. I don't think we have the balance sheet as a government to be able to do that. But can we create opportunities that have a high multiply effect?
And that will sort out the basics, so that
Precisely.
we're thinking bigger things, not just how we're going to have food on the table.
If the camera wants to have a production house tomorrow, how many people will he employ? He can only handle one camera. He has 10. That's jobs for 10 people, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's our goal, is to say, can we create the bridge to move our youth from a level where you have education, you're frustrated, there's no way you can see, there are no jobs. And now with COVID, a lot of youth lost jobs. There have been reports close to 1 million youth lost jobs. So we can create a bridge that we can now move them to this other side, where they say, okay, I have cash flow just because of your tomatoes. Your tomatoes are very powerful. Your onions, it's very powerful. You can change lives with those things. So we move them across, and we take Jane. She has liquidity. She can take care of her child. She can go back to university.
Yes.
Isn't it? Now she's wiser, I hope.
Yeah.
So now she's wiser. She knows.
Yes, of course.
So she'll go there and do what she needs to do.
Yeah, she now knows how to deal.
She knows how to deal.
Yes. Felix, I'm looking at the example you had given.
Yes.
About 8 homes, you'd probably get 32,000 at the end of the month.
300 homes.
300 homes,
if you
how
have,
much are you going to make in a month?
So for every home,
if they do 1,000.
If they do 1,000, some will do less, some will do more.
Yes.
So we've averaged our data at 1,000. So if I have every home from 1,000, I'm making 80 shillings.
Yes.
But so with 100 homes, I'm at 8,000 a week. 8,000 times 4 is at 32.
Yes.
At 32, I can pay rent. Even I can become bankable. If I want to buy a camera, I have cash flow now.
Yes.
I'm not relying on the mobile loans, very expensive mobile loans to run a business, because you can't. Mobile loans, a lot of them are consumption.
Yes.
But now I can move and we can even facilitate the conversation with banks that will come and say, these guys have customers, have predictable income now.
True.
You want to buy a second camera, you want to buy an iMac for your design work. So this is what we call a ramp up. It's a business model designed for the youth to help them to bridge to the next level.
Okay. So you cut me already.
Okay.
We talked about the youth and 20s. I am out of that space. And you are mainly considering that.
Yes.
So I fall in the consumer.
Yes, precisely.
Yes.
Yes.
So who else is your market target? Other than just my
it's a multi-sided model. So it's a multi-sided model. So we have the youth, and then we have the customers. So we need many of you. We need hundreds of thousands of Bettys.
Yes.
And as we said, we want to work with 5,000 youth in Nairobi who want to change their lives. And so that with the farmers we have, so this goes back to the farming is. So the rural youth can also get involved in primary production.
Yes.
Because now they have a direct market that stabilizes prices. And the most stable market in terms of pricing is the retail market, not the wholesale market, it's the retail market.
Okay, so other than the homes, Do you have institutions?
Yes, so we,
Where
institutions have, because we're helping farmers, the institutions, you have, those are very different dynamics. The youth don't deal with that because it's a credit mainly market.
Okay.
Then we have other wholesale that we are doing. We've launched a wholesale market. It's called Vuna. It's live now to help. That will also support the retail market. So for us, we're looking at, remember, restructuring markets to make smallholder farmers bankable and profitable. So when he's bankable and profitable, people want to deal with him.
True.
You understand? People want to deal with him.
You said you don't show up in the bank with no money and no one listens to you.
That's how they're structured.
Yes,
so that's how they're structured. So that's our role. And so we build those frameworks, those models of interaction. And that's what, as an infrastructure company, we do.
Okay. What does Jen need other than just the smartphone? Is there a place to register to become part of this? Who do they see?
So Jane goes to, we have it's on Google Play. It's called My 300 Squad. So Jane goes there, downloads the squad. She gets notification to come in. We're going to send a link on how to learn, and so there's a team that will coach her. We even have a very interesting team of partners. We have a coach, a certified coach, who has said I can give an hour a week, an hour every 2 weeks in coaching the young people. Very
online?
Online.
Good.
So he's called David Sijeni. So David has a heart for the youth. You would not pay David. I mean, a youth may not afford to pay David for his time.
I know.
But he has come and said, let me be part of this. You know, the others who are doing customer service, the guys, Susan, we have Nina, we have Samali, guys who have come on board to say we're willing to give our time because one youth will not be able to afford. These are high professionals.
Yes.
So they've come and bought the vision and said, how do we change the lives? So it's basically saying, how do we take care of our own? You know, how do you stop thinking about yourself only, Betty? You know, how do you take care of your own? How do you take care of the guys behind this camera? What can you do? Many times we think it's big donations, but no, we have locked this within your current budget and said, within your current budget, you can actually make a difference in someone's life. So we're calling it My 300, but we have something called Lifeline, especially for the youth from vulnerable places who now we have customers who are saying we would like to be matched in with this youth as well.
Okay. In terms of finances and payments, how trustworthy is this? How transparent is this?
Okay.
Yeah.
So from a pricing perspective, it's very transparent. When you get to the farmer, this is the farmer gets, this is what the platform gets, this is what the youth gets, this is what the packaging person gets, this is what the designer gets. It's a matrix. Then from there on delivery, actually the money is then credited, because when you make an order, you pay, and on delivery the same night, within 24 hours, the money is credited to everyone's wallet.
So Jen needs an account.
Then when she'll activate her account in the app. So she creates an
everything is in the app.
Everything is in the app.
Wow. From my side, me who has been locked out and branded the consumer.
Yeah, but you look like a consumer. No, you don't have to pay anything.
Do I have to pay, other than my bill?
No, you don't do anything.
Okay. So Jane does not deliver to me?
She doesn't.
Do I have to pay the rider?
No, so when you make an order, we have a flat rate of 130, which takes care of packaging and takes care of the rider.
And that I pay when I place
the order.
So I did not have to
start negotiating with the guy out near gate. No, I know that one.
Kilometers.
No, you don't do that. You don't do that.
So that's 130 flat rate is wherever.
Yes, in Nairobi.
Wherever.
Yes.
Wow. Such a nice deal. I mean, I can't stop asking where you guys have been. And also for the fact that you have been looking for guys. How many homes are you looking into?
500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many do you have to go, or how many?
We are far. We've been working on the youth, so so now we're talking about it. But we will get 500,000 homes in Nairobi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 500,000 homes in
Yes.
Nairobi.
Yes.
I like the way you're optimistic. What keeps you going in this business? Because when I hear you, what I hear a lot is the way it's benefiting other people and not the way it's benefiting you as the founder.
You know, I think I've set up a lot of businesses beyond this. I've been at it for 10 years, agri purely 10 years. But before I set up quite some businesses, some were successful failures. But we all had successful learnings. Income is an issue of, land income is an issue of value. Create value and you'll never need to work for money. So you should all be asking, how do I create value with my gift? So if this is my gift, putting things together, I need to create value, and money follows value. That's basically how. I don't follow money, I create value.
Money follows value.
Yes, and that is the easiest way to do. Otherwise, you'll wake up at 3 and sleep at 2 a.m. Following money, and your body is going to give up. But if you have, and that's where your gifting comes in: perseverance, patience, long suffering. I mean, I'm talking about the fruits of the spirit almost. So it's those are things that cannot be learned. I subscribe to that philosophy of create value, work on your craft. Everyone is an original. Don't try and copy who. I want to be like who. Or people say, are you the Uber of food? I'm like, no, I'm not the Uber of food. That's not our business. We are originals. So don't bring us down to that level. We are all your originals. So this is our original thing. So money follows value, and we make a fixed percentage of all these interactions. But we've had to get there. We've had to incur the price. There's a price to pay.
You can say that again.
Yeah, there's a price to pay for, even for you to sit here. There's a price you paid. For anyone behind the camera, there's a price.
You know, the price to pay, Felix, that's true and that's real. But everyone pays the price when they are planting. You had mentioned there is a planting season and there is a harvesting season, which makes agriculture very predictable and very nice one to venture in for that matter. But the price to pay, you want to do that with understanding that harvest time is coming.
It's going to come.
Yes.
So agriculture may be 3 months.
Waiting.
Yes.
This waiting.
Yeah, it's hard.
You know, what keeps you in this waiting? Because
passion. That's what I said. You have to, for you to inspire anyone, you have to have the passion. You can't inspire when you're passionless and dead in what you speak about. So passion is what keeps you in that time when you're in a dark tunnel with your eyes don't see light. You know, your physical eyes don't see light, but
it's got to be passion because you're putting in money and getting
none. You're getting none at that time.
Yes,
yeah, you're getting actually. You put in a lot, and you put in your time. You put in other people's time, your money, other people's money to try and get this thing up and running. But it has to get to a point that I hope we can create from our own stories, whether successful, not successful, whatever people call success. Is we can create models for the next generation. You understand that it's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down.
It's okay to fail.
Yeah, it's actually part.
You've done this 10 years and
many years.
Yes.
It's okay to fail, by the way, and that's one of the things of programming. You see, in the old education system that is just being wound up where we were, is we always used to have these things in class. After you do cuts, your results are there. So if you're down here, I mean, no one can measure, no education system can measure the potential God has put in anyone. So never bring yourself down to what you got in maths or what you got in physics or what you got in chemistry, because you're an original. No one has, you have your own gift. You understand?
True.
So if you take Cristiano Ronaldo and measure him against Einstein, you know, you'd be like, you can't, right now you'd see, you can't measure the two. This guy is a footballer, this guy is a scientist.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We bring ourselves and measure ourselves apples, bananas, but that's not how it's supposed to be. You need to measure yourself with what you have called yourself to do. If you're the best footballer, measure yourself with that skill. If you're a scientist, measure yourself with that one, but don't allow people to come and say, Betty, this is what you can or cannot do. No one has, frankly, the right or the ability to know what is in you.
I wish that there can be such people to speak to the X and Y generation, because perception of life majorly is not right. They
It's
have
different.
Yes, they have very escalated expectations. They don't want to go through the life process. They want to just have the elevator, but even the elevator takes you floor at a time.
Yes, you can have accelerated success. You can have, but even that elevator, someone built the shaft
Exactly.
to make it easier. So for us, it's like we have gone through the process of building that elevator that for the next generation it may be easier, and that's what generations should do. This generation should make it easier for the next one, but making it easier means more is expected from the next generation.
True.
Because we have created the path, we have given you an elevator as you use the stairs or a ladder.
And even that may be obsolete by the time you get to the next. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Felix.
Thank you
It has been a very good time of getting info that we didn't know.
Okay.
And some of us have gotten great business ideas. So we're going to get into this.
No problem.
And believe you me, we are the ones who are going to be making the 96,000 when we get to 300 homes in the month.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Let's work, let's talk about it, let's create, let's take care of our own. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank
I don't
you.
know if you have any last words to say to the youth who have been watching especially.
One, there's no one who's useless. No one was created useless. There's no one, whether your parents, your environment, your friends say you're useless. No one was created useless. That's a lie. Everyone has value. And everyone, you have more than you think you do. Many times it's just the information that needs to come in. It's an issue of knowledge that you can be able to look back and say, where do I start? And if you have nowhere to start or you want to do something, I mean, download the My300 app. We'll be able to work in, help you get customers. Let's create this ecosystem that where we're supporting each other. So that my dream would be the next generation can do much more. And we move from the mindset of, saidia serikali. The government has a lot of work that it's already doing, We also have to do our part. We can't put everything. Actually, it's easy to blame someone else for your problems. But at the end of it all, you have to look at the reality of you're over 18, you have to take responsibility for your life. And the decisions you make today, when you're in your 30s or when you're in your 40s, will come back either to haunt you, or you can create good memories that you can be able to pass on to the next generation.
Wow.
Okay.
Well said, Felix.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, viewer, for watching. I hope you got it from Felix. He has been there. He has had ups and downs, and he has made it. And he has good plans for you. He wants you to make it as well. He has made it really, really simple. Zero capital. Just download the app and start the process. Start small and grow rich quickly. It will definitely happen. My name is Betty. I have been your host. See you next time.